Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome back to English EchoLingo, the place where we turn the difficult journey of language learning into a clear, steady, and truly enjoyable path. I'm your host, Mike, and I am genuinely glad you decided to spend some time with me today. You've made a great choice for your brain and your future, and I promise that by the end of this episode, the way you look at a dictionary will change forever. Now, let's start with a feeling we all know too well. You sit down at your desk. You open your notebook, and you study a list of 20 new English words. You say them aloud, you write them down, you think you have mastered them. But then, just 2 days later, you see one of those words in a movie, or hear it in a song, and nothing. The meaning is gone. It feels like your brain has a hole in it, and all that hard work just leaked out. You might feel frustrated. You might even think, maybe I'm just not good at languages. But I want you to stop right there. I want to tell you a very important truth if you forget words quickly. It is not because you are lazy, and it is certainly not because you lack talent. It is simply because your brain is doing its job. You see, our brains are evolved to survive in a world full of noise. Every single day, we are attacked by millions of pieces of information. If our brains remembered every single thing we saw, every license plate on a car, every face in the street, every random word in a dictionary, we would be overwhelmed. Our brains have a very strict filter. They are constantly asking, is this information useful for my survival? Do I need this to live and breathe tomorrow? When you just look at a word on a cold, dry list, your brain thinks, this is just a stranger. This is useless data. And so, it throws the word away to save space. To keep a word, you have to convince your brain that this word is a friend. You have to prove that it is vital. Today, I am going to show you exactly how to do that. We are going to move from simple, boring memorization to deep, biological learning. We are going to make those words stay in your head. Not just for an exam, but for life. Let's dive into our first big technique. It's a simple rule, but it changes everything. Never learn a word alone. In the world of English, a single word is like a single puzzle piece sitting on the floor. By itself, it doesn't show you the picture. To see the picture, you have to connect it to other pieces. We call this contextual learning. Instead of writing a word down 10 times, I want you to build a home for that word. I want you to put it into a real, living sentence. And I don't mean a sentence from a textbook. I mean a sentence that belongs to you and your world. Let's try this together with a very common but versatile word, charge. Now, most people hear the word charge and think of a battery. That's fine. But don't just repeat charge, charge, charge. That's boring for your brain. Instead, look at your life. Think about your smartphone. We all use our phones every day. And we all feel that tiny bit of panic when the battery turns red. Imagine you are at home, it's evening, and your phone is at 1%. What do you say? Say it with me, slowly and clearly. I need to charge my phone. Feel the words. Now, let's make it a bit more detailed. Let's add a reason that happens in real life. Say this: I need to charge my phone before I leave the house. Suddenly, the word charge isn't just a sound. It's an action connected to your daily routine. Let's try one more variation. Imagine you missed an important call from a friend. Why? Because your phone died. You say I couldn't call you because my phone wasn't charged. When you practice like this, you are teaching your brain that charge is a tool. You need to communicate with the people you love. You are building a bridge between the English language and your real-world needs. Let's try another word that people often find tricky: delay. A delay is when something happens later than it was supposed to. Now, think about your last trip. Maybe you were at the airport or a train station. Imagine the feeling of waiting in a crowded hall. It's a bit annoying, isn't it? Use that feeling. Say this with me: there was a long delay at the airport. Good. Now, let's think about work or school. Imagine a meeting that didn't start on time. You can say sorry for the delay. The previous meeting ran late. Do you see what's happening? You are creating different folders in your brain for the word delay. One folder for travel, one folder for work. The more folders you have, the easier it is for your brain to find the word. When you are speaking in the heat of the moment. Let's do one more in this phase. The word is borrow. This is a word about trust. It means to take something and promise to give it back. Think about your office or your classroom right now. You need to write something down. But you look in your bag and you don't have a pen. Say it clearly: can I borrow your pen for a second? Now imagine a friend who took your favorite book and kept it for months. You might say he borrowed my favorite book and still hasn't returned it. Each of these sentences tells a tiny story. Your brain loves stories. It remembers the friend, it remembers the book. And because the word borrow is part of that story, it remembers the word too. This leads us to a very powerful biological secret that I want you to memorize. I call it the 24-hour golden rule. In the world of memory, there is a famous saying: use it or lose it. Scientific studies show that we forget about 70% of what we learn within 24 hours. If we don't use it, think of your memory like a path in a thick forest. If you walk on the path once, the grass grows back quickly, and the path disappears. But if you walk on that path again the next day, and the day after that, the path becomes clear, hard, and permanent. So, here is your daily mission when you learn a new word today. You must use it within 24 hours. You don't need to write a long essay. Just say it out loud while you are making your morning coffee. Send a simple text message to a friend. Or, my favorite method, speak it into the voice memo app on your phone. Just hearing your own voice saying the word in a sentence sends a powerful signal to your brain that says, hey, this is important. Keep this in the permanent files. Now, let's take it even deeper into the human heart. If you want to make a word truly unforgettable, you need to add emotion. Our brains are hardwired to remember things that make us feel something. This is why you can remember a beautiful sunset or a scary moment from 10 years ago. But you forget what you had for lunch last Tuesday. Let's use the word nervous. Nervous is that tight, fluttering feeling in your stomach when you are worried about something. To learn this word, I want you to go back in your memory. Think about a time you were truly nervous. Maybe it was a big job interview. Maybe it was the very first time you spoke English to a native speaker. Can you feel it, that slight shake in your hands? Now, say the sentence: I felt so nervous during my first English conversation. Now, that word, nervous, is no longer just a word in a dictionary. It is a label for a real, physical human experience you had. You have tethered the English word to your own soul. Let's try another lonely. This is a heavy word, but a very human one. It means feeling sad because you are alone or disconnected. Think of a time you moved to a new city or stayed home while everyone else was out having fun. Say it with me: I felt a bit lonely when I first moved to this city. When you use English to describe your real feelings, the language stops being a subject you study at school. It becomes a part of who you are. This is the secret of the world's most successful language learners. They don't just learn words, they live them. They use English to express their joy, their fear, and their dreams. Now, let's talk about the power of the inner movie. This is the technique of visualization. Did you know that the part of your brain that sees the world is the same part that imagines things? Your brain almost cannot tell the difference between a real sight and a very strong mental image. This is why words plus images equals unbreakable memory. Let's take the word climb. It's a simple word, right? To go up. But don't just think the word up. I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a huge, green mountain. The air is cool and smells like pine trees. You are wearing heavy hiking boots. You reach out your hand and touch a cold, gray rock. You pull yourself up. Can you see yourself there? Can you feel the wind on your face? Now, say the sentence: I want to climb to the very top. If you can see it, you can remember it. Let's try it with a more common word: messy. Imagine a kitchen after a very big party. There are dirty plates everywhere, spilled juice on the counter, and crumpled napkins on the floor. Say it: the kitchen was so messy after the party. When you say, messy, I want you to actually see that dirty kitchen in your mind. By doing this, you are giving your brain a visual hook. Later, when you want to use the word messy, your brain will pull up the image of the kitchen, and the word will come attached to it like a gift. As we move toward the final part of our session today, I want to share a technique that will organize your brain like a professional library. One of the biggest mistakes learners make is learning random words. A word about cooking, then a word about space, then a word about politics. This is like throwing random pieces of clothing into a dark closet. When you need to find your favorite shirt, you can't find it because everything is a mess. Instead, we use categorization. We group words together by theme. When words are connected, they support each other. If you forget one word, another word in the same group will often act as a clue to help you find it. Let's build a weather group right now. First word: cloudy. Imagine a gray sky. It's very cloudy today, I don't think we'll see the sun. Second word: breeze. Imagine a light, gentle wind on your face. There is a lovely breeze coming from the ocean. Third word: storm. Imagine loud thunder and heavy rain. A big storm is coming, so let's stay inside. Now, we have 3 words: cloudy, breeze, and storm. But we don't stop there. We tie them together with a story. Listen to this. In the morning, it was just cloudy. Then, a cool breeze started to blow. Suddenly, the sky turned dark and a massive storm began. By creating this 3-sentence story, you have linked those 3 words together forever. In your brain, they are now friends holding hands. If you remember cloudy, your brain will naturally lead you to breeze, and then to storm. You are building a network of knowledge, not just a list of facts. You can do this with any topic. Think about your bedroom. Bed, pillow, blanket, lamp. You could say, I lay down on my bed, put my head on the soft pillow, pulled up the warm blanket, and turned off the lamp. 4 words, 1 image, 1 story, 1 permanent memory. This is how you master vocabulary without feeling overwhelmed. My friends, we have covered a lot of ground today. We talked about why forgetting is a natural biological process, how to build sentence homes for your words, the 24-hour rule, the power of emotion, the magic of visualization, and the strength of storytelling. I want to leave you with one final thought. Learning English is a marathon, not a sprint. You don't need to learn 100 words a day. In fact, please don't do that. If you learn just 3 words a day using the techniques we talked about today, using them in sentences, feeling the emotion, and seeing the picture, that is over 1,000 words a year. And those won't just be words you know on paper. Those will be words you own in your heart. You have the power to change how your brain works. You are not just a student, you are the architect of your own memory. Every time you practice, every time you visualize, you are building a stronger, more confident version of yourself. Thank you so much for joining me on English EchoLingo. It has been a true pleasure being your host today. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with one friend who is also on their English journey. Let's grow and learn together. I'm Mike, and remember, keep listening, keep visualizing, and most importantly, keep believing in the power of your own mind. You are doing much better than you think. Until next time, take care of yourselves and happy learning. Bye for now.